Hey everyone, welcome back to Clinical Physio with me, Khalid Maidan. In this video, we're going to be taking you through an example of how we would fill in a body chart with our patient and take you through all the details that you need to include when doing so. So here we are, we're sitting in our clinic and our patient is sitting with us and we're going to fill in the body chart, and we're going to start by asking, where do you experience your symptoms? And he says to us the right side of his neck, the right upper arm and the back of the right hand. Now we need to be specific about these areas, so we're going to ask in more detail, can you point to us where you get your pain on the right side of your neck? And our patient points to this area, sort of between the occiput on the right side down towards the upper traps. Okay, and he points to this kind of region for his pain at the upper arm. Okay, and he's also told us about pain in the back of the right hand. And he's pointed out to us that it's this specific area here. So the next thing we need to do is clear all the other areas. So we're going to ask, therefore, you haven't told me anything about the right elbow. Does that mean you don't have any symptoms there? And he says, no, I don't. Okay, so we're going to tick that. And do you have any symptoms on the left side of your neck? No. Okay, that's good. And do you have any symptoms in the rest of the left arm? No. Okay, great. I'm going to tick all those areas too. And do you have any pain in the upper back? No. Okay, great. So we're going to tick that area as well. And it's important to tick these areas because that's your documentation to demonstrate that you have asked that the rest of the areas are indeed clear. Now another question I do like to ask is, do you have any pins and needles or numbness in any of those other areas? And if they say no, then I will write on my chart, no pins and needles, no numbness. And again, it's important to note that because it means that's our documentation to show that we've asked about those symptoms specifically. Okay, so otherwise, we're going to label each of these three areas, and we like to say, or I like to say rather, P1, P2, and P3. Some clinicians like to use A1, A2, A3. The choice is yours. So now we're going to go through these individual areas and ask about SIN, or a SIN factor. So SIN stands for severity, irritability, nature. So for severity, we're going to ask our patient on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 is no pain, 10 is the worst. How would you describe the pain that you've given to me on the right side of your neck? And our patient says 5 out of 10, all right. And how about the pain on the right side of your arm at the top here? 0 to 10 for that one? Okay, about a 6, he says. And finally, the pain in the back of your right hand, what would you say that one is out of 10? Oh, I describe that as about an 8. Okay, so we're going to write 8 out of 10. Therefore, we've established the severity for each of those different places. Next, I for irritability. So for this one, we're essentially looking at how often and how frequent his symptoms come on. And it's good to give some options. For example, would you describe the pain in that area as constant, some of the time, all the time, most of the time? What would you say? And our patient for the first area on the right side of his neck says that it's constant. It's there all the time, 24/7. And over here on the right side of the arm, that's only some of the time. Okay, so I'm going to write intermittent for that one. IM is my way of writing intermittent. And how about on the right side of the hand here? Yeah, that's just some of the time as well. Okay, so that's intermittent too. Next, N for nature. So with nature, we're looking to see how it feels. How would you describe the pain you're experiencing there? And again, it's good to give them a couple of options. For example, a sharp pain, dull pain, burning, throbbing, so your patient can give you a more accurate description. And our patient says, well, it's more of an aching pain at the top here, more of a sharp pain at the shoulder, and it's more of a burning pain here in the hand. So now we've noted all of those different things down. So now we've established the severity, the irritability, and the nature of the symptoms for each of the areas. And finally, we just want to tie it all together by asking about the relationship between these different areas. Is there a relationship between the symptoms? Do they come on together? Do they go off together? Do they get worse together, or do they get easier together? And knowing the relationship between your patient's symptoms will make formulating your diagnosis a lot clearer. So for example, we'll say, so do you find that these symptoms tend to come on together? And our patient says, actually, yes, when I get my neck pain, afterwards, the other two seem to get worse. And then when my neck pain gets better, the other two get better. So what we might write up here, we might write relationship, and we might write something like start of P1 leads to P2 and P3. And therefore, we've established lots of different things here on our body chart that we can really use for the rest of our subjective assessment and for our objective assessment to formulate our patient diagnosis. And that completes our video. Thank you as always for watching, and we'll see you again soon, right here on Clinical Physio.